Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, people. So Conor Benn apparently is preparing to sue the British Boxing Board of Control for a sum of 3.5 million in damages after being cleared of doping offences by the WBC. This is being reported here by the Daily Mail. It says Conor Benn is preparing to sue the British Boxing Chiefs for an expected 3.5 million after being cleared by a boxing authority of doping offences. He was cleared by the WBC, the governing body, and obviously at the minute, British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD, they still have an investigation going. But speaking to the Mail on Sunday, Benn revealed that the battle to prove his innocence of drug taking has killed him emotionally since his fight with Chris Eubank Jr. was called off. Really? Okay, we'll see. Benn is angry with the British Boxing Board of Control for not giving him the opportunity to clear his name after traces of a banned substance appeared in a sample as part of a voluntary doping program. So first off, I'm just going to call BS on that there. So he's saying that they didn't give him a chance to clear his name. Well, they did. They launched an investigation. Conor Benn actually has given up his British Boxing Board of Control licence. They looked for the dossier, because Rob Smith has said this several times, that they actually looked for the dossier that the Conor Benn team sent into the WBC, and apparently they were non-compliant. So I don't know how he can say that he was never given a chance to clear his name. I mean, if that dossier worked with the WBC, why didn't you send it into the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD? You know, answers on a postcard. He believes other fighters have been given such an opportunity even when they have failed a UKAD test. I've always been, and by the way, just on that there, I'd well believe that's true as well. To be fair with Conor Benn, I'd well believe that. In fact, I mean, do we need to go back to the Dylan White, Oscar Rivas situation? I'd well believe that. I'd well believe that. And also UKAD have, without naming fighters, there have been fighters who failed tests and been banned by UKAD, and like high level fighters, like known fighters, and UKAD have said nothing. So they've been banned, but they've never announced it to the public. Even still now, when those fighters are no longer in the sport. I've always been innocent, and the board have known about this for ages, except they chose to call the show off 2 days before. Well, you failed the test, and the board called it off 2 days before, which is completely what they were supposed to do. So he's implying, obviously, that they knew about that. So I would assume what Conor Benn is implying here is that they obviously knew about it, because there was a lot of rumours going around at the time. Apparently the test happened in, early September, thereabouts. So the British Boxing Board of Control would have probably been made aware of it, and only the fact that it went to the media, it went out public and it was leaked, is why they pulled the fight. So let's see what happens there. There were other fighters in the past who've had tested positive under UKAD, and the board have done nothing. They're still allowed to fight. It's just strange that me and VAD, the voluntary anti-doping agency that I employed myself for the fight, the British Boxing Board of Control, taken notice of other fighters who have failed their own testing agencies. It baffles me. I don't know if there's an agenda there, or if they want, or if they're out for me because my dad ripped off the British Boxing Board of Control, the British Boxing license on TV, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's basically what's happening there. Now, a few things. Obviously, he said that he never got a chance to clear his name. Well, obviously, when they launched their investigation, he didn't comply. You know, that's a fact. They've said that the dossier that WBC got, they didn't get. Now, there is a chance that he could go ahead with the investigation with the British Boxing Board of Control, because maybe now him and Eddie Hearn would look and say, well, look, WBC have cleared us, so there you go. And maybe they should do that. But, you know, the whole Conor Benn has never come across as the sharpest tool in the box, to say the least. He's really not come across as particularly bright at all. You know, some of the things he's said in his career, especially some of the things he's done, obviously outside of boxing, I really just, you know, head in my hand kind of thing when I see it. You know, people know what I'm talking about with that one. It was just the kind of really you had to go and do that. It's like, mate, come on, should know better than that. But with this, I wonder, is Conor Benn, look, Conor Benn could go down this road and sue the British Boxing Board of Control, that's fine, but there's a few things that come to mind. One, is this maybe a scare tactic for the British Boxing Board of Control to say, well, we don't want to get sued. All right, look, the WBC cleared you. Right, let's just, investigation's over, here's your license, let's move on. Maybe that's something. Maybe he's using it just as a bit of a front, just to say, right, look, I'm going to sue you for this amount. You don't want to get sued for this amount. And if he has a leg to stand on, there you go. You could get some money out of the British Boxing Board. I also think that could backfire spectacularly, because the British Boxing Board of Control could easily come out and say, well, we've given you opportunities, we've launched our investigation, you've not been forthcoming with anything. And that could really rear up and bite Conor Benn in the ass, because that could mean that, well, he may have to, go ahead and provide some, whatever, a dossier, etc., to the British Boxing Board of Control. And if they don't buy the contaminated eggs, or did he ate too many eggs, etc., well, then we could really be in a situation. Also, as well, you got to remember that the British Boxing Board of Control, right, if Conor Benn goes down the road of suing them, right, and maybe he's successful, maybe he isn't, I don't know, but it could make life hard for him and Eddie Hearn moving forward. You see, when Dillian Whyte was really trying to push with the WBC, this was going back in 2020, when he was really pushing the WBC to call his mandatory. At that time, we were looking at Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury potentially happening. And, Dillian Whyte was really, really just banging on the WBC's door, being like, no, we're getting this fight, I want this fight, etc. Eddie Hearn didn't really talk much about it. He never really fought Dillian Whyte's corner. Not that he promotes Dillian Whyte, well, works with him on a fight-by-fight basis, but I always maintained that Eddie Hearn, he didn't want to go down the road, because Dillian Whyte was talking about suing the WBC, and Eddie Hearn wasn't really talking about that. And I always maintained that Eddie Hearn didn't want to go down that road, because he didn't want to upset the WBC, in a sense of that could backfire on him with other fighters. So he wants to get his fighters who are up and coming, your Conor Benns of the world at the time, ranked by the WBC. If he goes down the road and has one of his fighters sue him, or he's helping with that, it's just going to look so bad. And they're not going to do Eddie Hearn any favours with regards rankings, with regards, voluntaries, etc., etc. Oh, I want one of my fighters to fight for a WBC title. Well, he's not in the top 15, and you sued us. So, when it comes to governing bodies, when it comes to sanctioning bodies like the British Boxing Board of Control, they have long memories. And if you start messing with them, and maybe it doesn't go well, maybe it backfires, you're going to have problems. That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to have problems moving forward. So let's see what happens with this situation. It'd be interesting to see what Rob Smith comes out and says. And it'd be interesting to see who's advising Conor Benn on these kind of things. Because honestly, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Maybe it's just Conor Benn not being bright, which I think is probably the main thing. But this whole 6 months thereabouts of this failed drugs test situation with Benn, the way he's been behaving on social media, the things he's been saying, if I was in his PR team, I'd be saying the best thing you can do, the absolute best thing you can do in this situation is just keep your mouth shut. Just keep your mouth shut. If you need to release a statement, a small statement, just, we'll go through the necessary steps, etc., etc., and we'll wait and see. Other than that, just keep your goddamn mouth shut. Once the WBC came back and said, all right, okay, we'll reinstate you, again, just keep your mouth shut. Right, wait and see what happens with the British Boxing Board of Control. Because when you start talking and you start, giving the finger to people, etc., well, one, you're not endearing yourself to the public, and the public are just going to turn on you, which I think has already started happening, right? And second of all, you're going to upset the British Boxing Board of Control, and they're the ones who are going to be probably making the final decision if you decide to go ahead and look for your license back, or you go through this investigation, and you don't want to ruffle feathers with them, because they'll make life difficult for you. If you look at the Tyson Fury situation, Fury, for those 2.5 years when he was he was banned by UCAD, etc., was going through everything, he literally just kept his mouth shut. He videos of him training with Billy Joe Saunders and saying, I might fight in Spain and stuff like that, but he was never as brazen as Conor Benn was. And obviously he was able to come back, no questions asked, there you go. So I think if I was in Benn's team, I'd be saying, well, it's a bit late now, but the best thing you can do in this situation, just keep your mouth shut. Just keep your mouth shut and let the behind the scenes do what they need to do. That's what I'd be saying. But hey, we're here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You think Conor Benn is right to go and sue the WBC? Or not the WBC, the British Boxing Board of Control? Do you think the fact that the WBC have said, right, what you've said about the eggs, etc., yep, that's A-OK, we'll tick that box, you're back in the WBC. Do you think that that's going to play into his hands? Or do you think that this could potentially backfire? Because the WBC, Mauricio Sullivan came out and said, well, I'm not a scientist. Proper politician's response, isn't it? That's a proper way a politician tries to divert a question. Prime Minister, this policy that, you've been advised to take and this, you've taken this. Why did you do it? I was advised. I'm not a scientist. Ask them. That's Sullivan. It's a proper politician's way of doing it. It's just shifting it onto someone else, Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. I asked someone else. I was like, what? You're the one who came. All right. Leave it with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. 8:30, live watch along. Jake Paul, Conor, Benn. I meant to say it at the start of the video, but hey, hope you're live. Hope we can lock in. And yeah. We'll watch this fight. I'm looking forward to this fight this evening. But let me know your thoughts on the Conor Benn situation in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. For now, I'll talk to you. Peace.